Have you heard that you can buy land and then not even be able to build on it? Find out how to avoid that next. Hi, this is Rebecca Townsend with Townsend Realty Group. I'm on my very own property discussing land today because we're going to have a whole new playlist on lighting your path home, talking all about how to buy land, things to avoid with land. And today we're going to talk about 4 different things that you definitely need to know if you're planning on buying raw land, even things to avoid around those 4 things. And then we're also going to go to Stewart Ranch, right here near Godley, 207-acre ranch that has been turned into a new development with larger lots. I'll tell you all about it when we get there. And last, we're going to discuss the difference between septic systems, conventional and aerobic, and why is that important. Stay tuned. So the 4 top things to consider when you are thinking about buying raw land include: what kind of access do you have to the property? What deed restrictions are there? And then you really also want to know if you need a septic system or it's on public sewer system, and is it in a floodplain or not? So today we're going to focus on access and what type of septic versus public system that you have. But right now I want to go over the short ones. Deed restrictions are like, can I have chickens? Can I have horses, cattle? Also a part of deed restrictions is what kind of house can I build and how much is the minimum square feet. I'm going to talk about deed restrictions a little bit more when we go over to Stewart Ranch. Right now, I want to talk about the access road. What kind of access do you have on this land? Is it shared road? Is it a private road? Do you have 150 feet of road frontage? Why is this even important? Well, one of the reasons this is important is because, just for an example, in Johnson County, if you don't have 150 feet of road frontage, you can't access public water like the Johnson County Municipal Water, the City of Cleburne Water, the Godley Water, whatever it is. And your town may be a little different, so I'm just mentioning examples. But you have to have 150 feet minimum road frontage to access the county water in Johnson County. You also have to have 150 feet of road frontage to be able to get a new plat. Let me give you an example. So this is our house. When we bought this land, there was no access, and the person that was selling us the land was going to give us access with a shared road. Well, we really didn't like that idea because we wanted a private road to our house. So he gave us an acre, which was a 60-foot road frontage strip to get into this property. That was great at the time, but now in Johnson County, if you don't have 150 feet of road frontage, not only can you not have the county water, which we already knew at the time we purchased it, we chose a well, which I'll talk about in just a minute, but you also cannot now have a plat. And why is that important? Well, if you only need a survey to build, you're good to go. Like if you have an acre of land with a little 60-foot strip and they already have a survey on it, you can build. But guess what happens if you don't have 150 feet of road frontage in Johnson County and you want to build an extra house and they make you replat it? So you can't plat in Johnson County without that minimum road frontage, so guess what? No extra house. No giving away an acre to your brother or your son. So why this is important to know what your land can and can't allow you to do before you purchase it is right there, that example. You don't want to buy an acre of land, find out that you need 2 acres for a well, and you don't have enough road frontage to use the county water. So access, very important, private or shared, and also how much road frontage do you need in your county to build, to replat, and also what are the requirements for county water versus well. Just know as I keep going forward that I'm going to discuss things like this so that you know how to buy raw land responsibly, and you definitely want a real estate agent that knows what they're doing, because if you can't get county water, then you've got to do a well. If you're going to do a well, you need to make sure to do a PERT test. So that's another one of the items is the PERT test. And we're going to talk more about that because in a PERT test, it tells you how much water can be absorbed in your soil. The county can do that PERT test, and so can a septic company. And it will determine whether you can use an aerobic septic, if you can do a conventional septic, and I'll tell you the difference at the end of the video, what those are. But also it will tell you if you have to have a treatment facility. And I'm not going to go into that in this video, that'll be a future video. So that's the big part of today's video, but I also want to touch really quick on floodplain. You want to know if your land is in a floodplain. Why? Because you don't want your house underwater? You also have to consider extra flood insurance on your house. So that's an important one. And then deed restrictions we'll talk about upcoming at Stewart Ranch next. And then last but not least, the septic systems. If you have to have septic versus a public sewer system, you want to make sure to check out the end of the video, because at the end we talk about what is a conventional septic versus an aerobic septic. So we'll touch on that in just a few minutes. Let's go to Stewart Ranch next. Here we are in Stewart Ranch in Granbury, Texas. It's a new development. It's over 207 acres. They have 1 to 11 acre lots. Just anything that you could imagine is here. And what I love about this luxury community is it's going to be gated. They have concrete roads, but you feel like you're in the heart of the country. Where this is located is right off of Highway 4. It's just on the other side of Johnson County, but it is Granbury ISD. And if you didn't catch my Granbury video, make sure you go check it out. I'll have it linked in the description below. But what you want to know about this community of Stewart Ranch, it's SWP is the developer. They are right here out of Godley. Their family has been here for years and years. It's a multi-generational company. I love working with SWP, and I love working in Johnson and Hood counties because you get that country feel. So you can pick from 1 to 11 acre lots, and it's starting at $139,000, which is very affordable. You've got underground utilities, you've got United Co-op, fiber optic internet that's going in 2 weeks from today. You also have an HOA, and like I said, it's a gated community, so it gives you that private feel and that luxury feel, but at a very reasonable price. Another thing that you'll want to know about this, besides the beautiful countryside that's behind me, is you'll want to know that the 1 acre lots start at a minimum building size of 2,400 square feet. And then when you get onto the larger lots, anything over an acre, it's 2,600 square feet minimum. You need a 3-car side entry garage with these lots. And one other thing that I wanted to let you know is that many of these lots are still available right now, and you can pick your own builder. And then this is a bonus. This is my favorite part. You can build a shop, and you can have a guest house or an ADU mother-in-law type suite separate from the home, and it's already approved in the deed restrictions. So if you want to know more and you're a buyer looking to use your own builder, build on land, but you still want that community feel, Stewart Ranch might be for you. My contact information's below. So now we're going to go talk more about the difference between a conventional septic and a aerobic septic, and how do you know which one you'll end up with if you're going to choose to build on raw land. So here we are in front of a conventional septic system. And one thing I want to say up front is that when you are going to build a house and you must have septic versus county water, when the test reveals what kind of soil you have, that's going to determine whether you need conventional or aerobic. You really want conventional if you can have it, in my opinion. This is just a preference, because conventional, you do not need any maintenance like chlorine tablets and things like that. It drains off down under the ground where you never have sprayers, you don't have spray heads spraying. But one thing to avoid is builders will not always tell you about these risers. So this is actually my very own conventional septic system. My husband just had to dig this up because it was time for us to get it pumped out. You do on any kind of septic system, whether it's aerobic or conventional, you have to have it pumped every 5 to 7 years, depending upon how many people live in your house and how much toilet paper and different things that you use. So one of the things that I would like to tell you today is you want to get these risers. It costs a little bit of money up front. We were able to get both of these put on for $450. And I'll tell you, it's well worth it, because if you look at all the rock that's around here, my husband had to dig through. He does not ever want to do that again. So if we had known, and we did not know because we bought this house before I was in real estate, if we had known that we needed these risers so he wouldn't have to dig this up, we definitely would have done it. So definitely a tip for this, get the risers if you get conventional so you do not have to dig up your lids. These lids will come off and they will pump your septic every 5 to 7 years. Let's go look at what an aerobic system looks like. So on another part of our land, we have actually our mom's house. And at our mom's house is an aerobic septic. And the reason that it had to be aerobic here is because it didn't have the same soil and the same drainage that we did at the top of the hill. So that tells you that drainage is one of the things, a part of that PERC test that I mentioned, is you got to have a PERC test on your land. And when they do the PERC test, that'll tell you if you're going to be able to do a septic. And then when they do the soil test as a part of that, it will identify whether it can be aerobic or conventional. The way that you'll know an aerobic septic when you're walking land is that it has 3 to 4 lids. This one has 4. One of the things about aerobic is you also have to put chlorine tablets in every single month or when needed. Sometimes it can go a little longer than a month, and that keeps it working. And then there is also a spray field, which is going to show on the video. The spray field actually sprays out the excess water, but you still have to have it pumped every 5 to 7 years, depending upon how much usage, just like the conventional. So the reason I like conventional is because you don't have to do these chlorine tablets and you have less lids. So that's a little bit about septic systems. Thank you for joining me today. I just want to say we're going to have a lot more videos on land. Don't forget to comment below. Tell me what you want to see in these videos and I'll be happy to do them. Also, like, subscribe, share, and get notified. Forgot what I was going to say. Oh my goodness. Okay, the hook was, what was the hook?